Let's talk about illustrating books or hiring me to illustrate your book or just illustrating book, what to expect. Like if you have an idea in mind and you've thought about reaching out to an illustrator, how to get ready and what to expect, what I'm gonna need from you and what you're gonna want to get from me. So why hire a professional illustrator? Well, to get the art that's in the right format, the right quality for whoever you're printing with. If I'm gonna help you get it published, we're gonna do self-publishing, and it would be on Kindle Direct Publishing. So I'd be creating for their platform. So if you already have somebody in mind that you work with that would publish it, then we will create to their specifications. And then so besides the actual art, you hire an illustrator because they're able to create the art in the proper format for the printing process. So that's a big part of hiring a professional, because we know a lot of people in our lives that are artists or creative people, and but asking them to illustrate a book might be very abstract, or like how do you get it from your canvas to the book is kind of a process. And if it's not your thing as an artist, it can be really chaotic and frustrating to try to paint it, take a photo of it. So anyway, that's part of the professional hiring a illustrator. So I specialize in kind of like picture books or like full page illustrations rather than like chapter books or something. I can do those, but the way that I charge, typically the pricing is going to be per page for full story, like picture book kind of graphic novel kind of stuff. So if it's different than that, we have to figure out a different price. But anyway, so when you hire an illustrator, you're going to provide your manuscript or your story and talk through it, and then the illustrator is going to create art that goes with that story, and so it matches perfectly, rather than using clip art or something to try to force feed it. So all of my illustrations will be custom illustrations. They won't be kind of reused stuff. Like I don't have characters or anything. It's gonna still be in my style a little bit because I'm the creator, so it's just gonna have my fingerprints on it. But so I won't exactly create in a, like if you have another book and you say, I love this style, I want it to look exactly like this, too bad, then reach out to that illustrator. But I can create maybe something kind of similar, but it's still gonna have my artist fingerprint on it. So we will work together through the sketches, the feedback, and kind of revisions to make sure it feels fun and matches what you're looking at or looking for, and matches the vibe and everything. So then at the end, you will have your final files that are delivered and ready to be either printed on like through Kindle Direct Publishing, because that's who I work for mostly when I publish my books. But it'll be in the format that you need for whoever's printing and publishing the book. If you do, so I can do digital and traditional. So if you do traditional, part of the final files will be sending you all those original watercolor paintings that are like pieces of art that you could frame and hang, that kind of thing. Step-by-step process. What does it look like? So step one first is just share the story. Tell me the story. If you have it written out, like I want to read it and then chat with you and hear your vision of what's the story about, what does it mean to you, why you wrote it. Get all of those juicy details, because that's going to help me create something that matches your vibe. We'll discuss the style, the number of pages, the mood, the characters, the themes, like how detailed is it, how simple is it, you know, because that can change the pricing a bit too. Not too much, but it can change it. Step 2, we'll talk about the agreement, the contract, pricing, timeline, revision rounds, you know, because we don't want to get stuck in a never-ending editing and changing, because I can only do a certain amount of revisions, and then I'll have to like start charging you for the revisions, because it's just, if I don't, then I won't be able to earn enough money to make a living. So we'll talk about that. Then step 3, once we get going, you know, I'll create some rough sketches and send them to you and see how it's feeling. Create the initial layouts and make sure that it's what you're looking for, get your approval on it. Step 4, final art. I'll do the full color illustrations, digital or traditional. If it is traditional, I'll end up scanning them in and tuning them up a little bit so then they print well online, but it will still look traditional. But some of those edges and stuff, you got to kind of clean them up digitally. So the pricing is more expensive for traditional, because it's just kind of, if you mess up, you got to start over. Digital, you can kind of change and manipulate things a little bit easier or quicker and more efficiently. Anyway, so then then step 5 would deliver the high resolution print ready files for you so it's labeled and everything how you need it, and so you can go right to the publisher. And then optional, if you want me to format and get it all ready and publish it on Kindle Direct Publishing, so then you can just buy it on Amazon, we can do that. If we do it that way, there's a couple of options we can work through about the payment or who's managing that. We can work through all that later. My pricing, so for digital art, it's $150 per page, and for traditional art, it's $300 per page. And so I do think Kindle Direct Publishing requires, if you want it in color, I think they require you to have 24 pages for paperback. I think hardcover is 75 pages. I'm not sure, but that's exactly why you would want to hire me, because I can figure that out and get it right from the start, so then we don't create something and then can't publish it. And so yeah, so then the book covers are typically a little more expensive, $400 to $800, depending on the detail and, you know, what it entails. And it would be when you create the cover, it's like the front and the back all in one, and you create it so then it has room for the barcode and all that information, the spine, if you're printing on the spine. And of course, the full quote, I'll be able to help you adjust it after we know exactly what you're thinking, what your budget is and what you're trying to do with it. We can work things out that way. And then a payment schedule, we'll do a deposit up front just to help me out, get started, help me get creating in the right way, and a security deposits, you know, so it lets me know that you're serious about it, and I'm not going to do all this work and then not get any payment. Just a confidence, trust building thing. And then what does your project include? Your project, you know, it includes all of the custom illustrations tailored for your story. You own the rights to the art afterwards. Like once you pay me for the illustration, then you own that work. The only time that I might use it is if I'm promoting like this, that I'm an illustrator to promote getting more work. So I'm not going to take your work and submit it into, I'm not going to sell it. So you own the rights to that work once we work through, finish it all up. you know, you get your yeah, the right, you can get, I can give you guidance on your how to format it and stuff, especially for Kindle Direct Publishing, since I work on there. If you want me to get it so sent in and make sure it prints, no issues, we can do that. I can help you out with that. And then so why work with me? So I have experience illustrating, and I can I do art, and the illustration technical stuff is I already have experience in that. So instead of just reaching out to an artist that hasn't illustrated a book, there's a big learning curve for them to get it in the proper format, to make sure it prints and it looks good in the book. So I have some experience combined of the illustration and publishing combined with my art style, so I can create in a style that's made for books. And I am, another reason to work with me, I'm comfortable with mature content, so I do a lot of erotic arts. As you can see, a lot of butt cracks and boobies, naked people in my artwork. Kindle Direct Publishing has some rules about nudity, so if your book is heavy on nudity and erotic work, we can do like fine art on Kindle Direct Publishing, but if it gets too erotic, we're gonna have to work with a different printer to figure that out. But anyway, that's if you're interested in the more erotic stuff. And of course, I can relieve a lot of stress. If you've been wondering about getting your book published and trying to figure out how to do it, I can relieve the stress and just help you chill out. And like, it's gonna be all, we'll get it all good. We'll get it fixed up, make sure it prints well. You're not gonna get ripped off. We'll make sure it works, and get it in your hands. So then you say, yep, this is what I'm looking for, and then it's up for sale, that kind of thing. The next steps, yeah, reach out, email me your story, tell me about your story. If you want to give me a call, let me know, and let's get your book made into a book, and out of your mind and out of your journals, and make it into a printed book. All right, so that's illustration, that's me, that's illustrating. And if you're working with another illustrator, they're gonna need a lot of the similar information. So the things up front, make sure if you have a story, make sure you have thought it through and you can tell the whole story in depth. It can't really be an unfinished story, because that will confuse the illustrator. At least it will confuse me. I get confused easily, so I need a clarity. What's your story? What you're trying to illustrate? How many pages is it? What's the title? If you have any fonts that you love, or styles of writing, if you have any styles of illustrations, gather those things. Pinterest is great for this, to gather concept, get like mood boards going of things you like and things you don't like is also important. So that's illustration. All right, reach out, let me know. Let's get your book made.